Welcome back to the Now Reality podcast on Vast, entitled to Heal, with my guest, executive producer, Robin Paris. We've already had a wonderful first half, filled with fun and laughter and some serious notes and perceptions. And so we'd like you to join us now for part two. Looking forward to more interesting conversation, insights, visions, and ideas that we hope will come across in the amazing documentary Vast, entitled to Heal. Please enjoy. My favorite one.
No, like what doctors say, your adrenals are like they're running a million
Drained.
overtime. I'm like, because I'm Superwoman. Like, what's the problem? Now, of course, I understand.
Yes.
This dear sweet spacesuit that I'm wearing, I must take care of if I
Yeah.
want to be here. And I do. There's lots of work to be done and joy to be had and adventures to yet to unfold. So
And
yeah.
this documentary is probably the best way for people to do that, because I'm going to give out free protocols,
Yeah.
free to learn, free
Yes.
to do. And you want to know more about whatever? Yeah, okay, that's another story. But
Yeah.
this documentary series, if it's a series, we're not sure yet. We want to say this is for anxiety, this is for stress, this is clarity of mind, this is how you center yourself. And there are simple techniques that
Mhm.
have vast ramifications in health and healing. Your whole life changes in 4 minutes, in 30 seconds. You're afraid that you're going to do this double breathing thing and you're going to be out of fear just like that. Just like that. We're giving that to them so people can actually walk away visually. They can stand up and do it while we're doing it. They can participate right online, real time, like you said. I want them to have it in real time. And I said, that's good, me too.
Yeah, because I really wish that I knew all these, I had these tools when I was going through all these
Yes.
things because it accelerates the healing process. I could have been well, I know it, 6 months earlier than I was because I just felt I was at the mercy of my doctors. That whatever my doctor would say, or, of course, healing has its own course, but I wasn't really helping
Right.
I wasn't a partner with my body.
Yeah,
Let
exactly.
me assist too. Yeah.
And I think today, all my doctors, when I'm going to just talk about my recent thing, in the hospital, heart failure, blowing up the size of a balloon. I mean, all the things that I had gotten from COVID.
Hmm.
And I would not do the things they were telling me to do because they were putting more chemicals in my body. And it's a virus. Okay. But that's not just a virus. Something else is wrong. Something's in this, and it's got nothing to do with viral. So I started using my own protocol that I'd used for viruses. So I know that we were tapping that down. And then it was like, okay, I need information.
Hmm.
My healing, I had COVID like 7 times now. But after the first year, when I was in the hospital, when I came out, all my tests were done. After the next year, they said, oh, well, your kidneys are bad. Usually you have 3 years to live because you're in kidney. What are you even saying? That is like
Hmm.
so not happening. And so it didn't. And I was in all my testing a year later, and they said, the kidney doctor especially, what are you doing? Oh, I'm fasting. I'm doing this. I'm jumping on my trampoline. I'm happier. I watch funny movies. And like, what are you even saying? And I have insights. So we all were helping each other.
Well, he was asking you that because your healing was miraculous
And it had nothing to do with him. And
and had nothing to do with him.
he
That's
said,
why he was
just
asking you, not like,
keep,
oh, this is terrible.
no,
What the hell are you doing?
absolutely. He said, keep doing it and I'll check in a year. And I was going every 6 months. So I
Yeah.
went, okay. Now I'll see you in a year and a half. And nothing's changed. All it is clearer and better. I feel better now than I did 4 years ago. And he's saying you're older, you should be feeling less sick. And I said, no, I'm the opposite. And my body's agreeing with me, so I'm good. And
Yeah.
the heart doctor also flipped out.
Yeah. Well, that's why they've agreed to be in the documentary.
Exactly. That's why they're going to put their 15 cents in.
Yeah.
And, the doctor I have is a triple surgeon. He's got a triple degree in heart surgery, and he's known around the world. And he is willing to get on and talk about this experience of the emotional body and how important it is. And
Yes.
it's been neglected.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
So,
looking forward to having them on.
yes, which is what makes our documentary a little more unique because we are actually showing the science
Yes, we are
behind.
using the skeptical minds with the
Yeah.
non-skeptical minds.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's what makes it so good. And Robin and I, when we started this, we knew we wanted to do this. I think the value of it after waiting and having this transform into so many different ways, the documentary started this way and now it's this way and then it's this way. It grew into, oh, now I can see the vastness of having this all this coming together. Oh, now I see it.
Mhm.
Where sometimes we were like, I don't know. Well, I don't know how we're going to do that. How are we going to see that?
Yeah. Yeah. Which brings me to, one of my hopes in filming this is that we're able to capture sometimes the subtle energy shifts, the amazing energy shifts, and the aha moments that just absolutely take your breath away. For as you know, for many of us, to see it is to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
You mean during my healings?
Yeah, or in it as we're filming this, because fantastical things happen when we're around you.
Yeah,
And
it's
I want, and I mean fantastical, I mean the veil gets lifted
yes,
between vast and here. Because, well, vast is, there
here.
is, but we think that there is, and we get to see a lot more.
Yes.
You change our perspective of things. So, and I want to capture that on film. Because as I said, some people say, well, if I see it, I'll believe it. But you're telling me, I don't know. So what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that that's important, or do you hope that?
I think it's important. Let's talk about you.
Mhm.
Robin came with me on a trip, and one of the things was for her to be able to see or be part of the greater space that we all can be part of if we choose. And we went to, she asked me, so what are we going to do today? Oh, we're going to go here. And how long will we be there? I don't know, 3 days maybe. Okay. And then what? And it'll happen. What is it? I said, I don't know. We have to wait and see what it is.
I
Remember?
was on a need to know basis.
She's like, what time? What do I have to wear? Where do I have to be? None of that mattered because it's not about us, right? So we go to this beach in Egypt. It's in Sinai Desert, and on the shore, looking at Saudi Arabia in the distance, perfectly safe, perfectly fine, and waiting. She's waiting for this moment to appear for her. And she every day she's like, "What today?" I'm like, "Well, we'll see
It's like
about tonight."
Christmas
She
waiting
was
for
like, she'd had it. She was like, I said, "Well, maybe tonight." And I said, "No, it's not tonight." Okay, like you tell somebody that really wants to see something, they got to keep waiting moment by moment. It feels like a year before it actually occurred, but it did occur, didn't it, Robin?
Yes, it did on the third day.
On the third day. On the third day, the information came.
Hmm.
And it was really for Robin to see physically and to sense through the fire of light that she couldn't actually see, but she felt, and I got on film, to see it physically happening in the water and then to sense it and then to see it later documented. She got the picture of what it was. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So we were actually I just know that at least the third night we were living on the beach. I slept on the
Yeah,
beach,
that's right. You were
and
sleeping on the beach.
yeah, and night came, and there were maybe just scattered travelers. I think they were Israeli, but nobody really near us. So anyway, we go to the bank of the sea, and looked to the left, and like it looked, you could see from, like, felt like miles, and there was a white crest of water, like when a wave comes and it crests and then it diminishes, and I'm looking at that, and it's moving, and lady had my hand. She said, just wait, and finally, the crest came, and it stopped right in front of us. That white foam that would normally dissipate into nothing remained, and it stayed for what seemed, lady, it had to have been like a good 5 minutes.
Well, it was definitely moments of time, but it wasn't at your feet. It was out from you.
No, it was out further. Yes. Well,
Yes, and
yeah.
stopped in a current happening. It stood still.
It was against the law of nature that could
Yes.
happen. And the lady said, it was the lady of the lake. And
Mhm.
she said, she's here, make your wish. And so I did. And I mean, it was one of the most profound, take your breath away, ever moments. And I did. And ladies said, bow. And we did. And we sort of stepped backwards. And with that, the lady of the lake moved on. And where we were was the only time that it stopped. It had been continually flowing, that we were watching from way, way, way up the bank all the way to us, and to us it stopped. And after I said my wish, my prayer, and bowed in gratitude, it moved on.
Right.
Who does that? How does that happen? And then I don't know if that was the same night,
Yeah,
or
it was all the same night.
then we had a campfire, and lady said to me, oh, well, look at the letters that in the fire. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, Robin, look in with your deeper self, your third eye, look there. And all of a sudden I'm seeing ERTS, and I'm calling them out. And then lady says, oh, they're giving you a gift. And she picked up my phone and snapped a picture. And then she showed it to me, and there was an arc of the most rich, deep purple light. And I'm like, give me that. And then I took the picture, and then I looked, and there was nothing.
I'm sorry.
It was just the freaking
That
black and
was
white.
so funny. She was like, "Oh yeah, okay." Again, skeptical. It's okay, take it. But
Yes, like,
I
yeah,
had it already done. I'm so happy that because not always does that happen. I was so happy it had because you
yeah.
had suffered it waiting for something to occur.
Well, it was like, sleeping on a beach. I was eaten alive from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. I was just eaten alive they love
We
it.
were, yeah, we were in bamboo huts, but there was no such thing as getting rid of mosquitoes. It
Yeah,
was it was pretty actually they're
it was
sandflies.
intense.
That's
Yeah,
pretty intense.
yeah.
Robin looked like she had a disease when she left Egypt.
The lady goes, you just need a little makeup, honey. So I flew back to,
Meet her husband.
I met my husband in Tel Aviv, or not
Yeah.
the airport, and I'm running to him. And I have a thick lot of hair. It was like a big halo around me of kink and God knows what. And he started laughing. He said, my God, I've never seen you look like this.
What happened to you?
Yeah, because I also decided that it was everything that I had packed. So I thought it was important to wear everything on the plane. So I had pants, a dress, sweatshirt, a sweater, a hat, and it was 90 degrees. But I was delirious at that point. But I was like not on the earth plane. I was somewhere else. I was in
Yeah, it's
Venice.
true.
Now I know.
The temple of which you used to live in was blown away by that experience, and
Yes.
it followed you all the way to back to Michigan. Actually, you were still not in it until you were
Yeah.
back in
And I
Prague.
was fasting and all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was extraordinary. It was an extraordinary trip. Yeah. And
What?
so, but in working with you and understanding vast and that, like, that part never leaves. I mean, I'm so much more conscious of it, and it's such a cool place to dwell. To,
Yeah, for sure.
you know,
Louise also,
extraordinary.
Louise said, you know the best thing about you, lady? I said, no, what? She said, because it's always more fun where you are. I'm like,
Yeah.
because all these extraordinary things happen.
Yeah.
Uh, I remember one time with Louise, we were in the desert and we were doing an honoring because it was autumn equinox, actually. No, this time of year. And there was Egyptians who were Muslim, right? Then there were the Coptic Christians who were there too. And then there were Israelis, and there was all these major religions around us, which has nothing to do with me. I think those are like ways to get where you want, but then there's the door at the top. So use them, but then blow open the door. So we were sitting in this place and too many people. It was like, we can't be quiet and smile and joy and light a fire and have, we can't do that here because someone's coming over to ask us to explain ourselves and we can't be in this space. And she said, what do you want to do? And I went, we're going to walk just over there. And she said, where? I said, I don't know. Let's just go. So we did. And there was this beautiful alcove. And you didn't even know it was there if you didn't walk through this sticky bush to get to it.
Mhm.
And there was the most beautiful orangey, beigey, yellowy alcove and sandstone surrounded you. And we stood there and we were wearing blue. And it was just like, you don't have to just stand here. And we're happy if you just stand here. So we sang our little songs and we stood there and we were talking about we reap what we sow and what are we reaping now and what are we sowing? What are we offering? Because you just can't take. If you have a really great healing, you have to be so grateful for it. And
Mhm.
this is one of the things you learn from nature from the very beginning of time
Mhm.
is be thankful for what's in front of you. But we're not taught it. And so now we teach it all the time. But
Mhm.
Louise had this experience with me. We're both like, the light changed, the colors changed. And then she went back again because she was living out there, for a while. She went back
Ah.
again. None of it. She couldn't even find it. Yeah, I'm always excited about it, like a child, and all of it. And then after it
Mhm.
happens and I try to find something, it's not there. I'm like, maybe I dreamt it. Maybe it wasn't real.
No, well, because that was the past, and all there is now.
Now, that's correct.
Yeah.
But the beauty of knowing where you've been is great as long as it doesn't dictate your future.
Yes. Yeah. Well, this was fun.
This was so much fun. It's just like a regular, let's have coffee and have a chat, not coffee for you. You're not a coffee person. I like it sometimes. Um, I think the interesting thing we can end with is now that we're filming, in a couple of weeks, we're filming, they call it a sizzler or a promo or whatever. It'll be online because we are also raising money for the project. There's money for the project, but we need to raise more because we want to really open up the doors to allowing people to really absorb the healing that's going to be right in front of them. And that takes different cameras, it takes different lighting, it takes more than just, oh, here's a camera and here's a cameraman. So we need to, I think I'm speaking we for us, but we want that experience to be so tangible and the
Mhm.
ahas to be right in front of you. Like what we had with Michigan. Remember that group in
Yes.
Michigan and you saw removed, because usually you're part of everything. This
Yeah.
time you were the executive producer of it. So you sat back and witnessed the
Mhm.
changes. Maybe tell them a little bit about
Yeah.
their,
So there was, I don't know, 10 people, some of whom I knew, others I did not. But I talked to them before they started doing breath work with Lady, and most of them were pretty skeptical. And so what I got to witness, because I'm just watching, timing things, but I got that one out the window. I got to see these 10 people who don't do this work um, master it so quickly. And the vibration in the room when we started was nervousness, anxiousness, like what's going to happen, to complete and total joy and laughter. And people, lady at one point said, I want you to say your name. And I thought, oh my God, that's not going to work. I've been in groups where somebody would go, Jim, Robin. And I thought that's what's going to happen. Oh, no, no, no. It was Jim, Robin, Kathy. And I started to cry. I just was so moved unexpectedly, because I had so much other stuff going on in my head about everything that was going on. It just completely brought me present. And the obviously the vibration lifted and the joy in the room was palpable.
Yes.
And the people looked 10 years younger when
Oh,
it was over, because all of the stress, all of the I don't know, or no, this is stupid, left. And one of my favorite, and then I spoke to them afterwards, one by one. And one of my favorite remarks was made by a man who, when I spoke to him before the event, before the protocol, he said, well, I don't really know about this. I'm here as a favor. And
which is fair.
I'm a little skeptical. And I'm like, great. Okay. Have you ever seen Lady? Have you ever done her work? No, never. I don't know who she is. I'm just here as a favor to a friend. When it was over, I went up to him and he was glowing. And I said, how do you feel? He goes, I'm giddy. I feel giddy. Now, this is like, he looked like he could have been a linebacker on a football team.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Giddy is not a word that I would think would be in his vocabulary to describe how he was feeling. And then there were a lot of people in the room that knew him and said, like, what is going on with you? Who are you? And his joy became contagious. And then it rose again after the breathing techniques were over. So that was pretty frigging amazing. And another one, a friend of mine announced to me before we started the protocol, well, I'm a scientist. I'm like, you are? I didn't know that about, I know you're married to a scientist. You're a scientist? She goes, yes, I'm a scientist. So I'm a little skeptical. I'm like, okay. And what happened with her, not only in the healing, in the breathing technique, but you had done a private healing on her.
Yes.
Her life changed. Her family, there were family dynamics that were going on that were really weighing her down. And I spoke to her a few months later, and who she was being and how she was handling it, and sort of the joy in telling me what 3 months ago would have been a really painful conversation, she was very light about it. And like, this was not, it is what it was, and it wasn't going to take her power away. And she was joyful. And everybody had very unique to them experiences, but all incredibly positive. So yes, I was so happy to be a fly on the wall that day.
Robin actually was crying, and for me it was like, I know what it's like to be in it, and I'm like a director in a play, because the participants of a play are the people in the play are the play. The director maybe be helping you, but the actor's the actor. They're doing their job, right? When you have all these people in this room and none of them know each other personally, like we're just about to do, and then they're really personal, like not just saying their names, but bending in half saying it, and then saying it louder, and then the other people being willing to offer up more and offer up more. The whole place was like,
oh, and may I add that one of the women that was a participant was a very heavy smoker and had asthma. And doing that deep breathing was a concern. Like, is she going to be able to do this? And she was like leading the band. She
yeah,
had no problems.
she
Like,
was
all
clear.
of that disappeared for her.
And she said, I have asthma, so I can't breathe deep. I said, yeah, do your best. And when it came for her opening her mouth and having the air behind it,
Yeah.
She was like loud, and she didn't need an
Yeah.
inhaler, and she didn't even, I don't know when she used the inhaler again after that, but
She didn't
listen,
you do it during that and that breathing, you have to be able to
oh, it's breathing.
take a deep breath, and she
Plus,
did great.
that healing, that protocol is to open up and expand the lung beyond its normal use. So she had to not only get past her places that she only breathes to, she had to
Mhm.
go through them in order to get to where she needed to get. For her
Mhm.
to do that,
Mhm.
yeah, you can see mindset, how you're setting yourself up to be limited. Oh, I can only breathe this much.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, she could breathe way further, and she
Mhm.
didn't need chemicals to do it, which is what an inhaler is. Are they
Mhm.
beneficial? Sure. Is it something we should only rely on? Probably not. I think
Mhm.
there's not enough science behind things. They're just like an aspirin. Just take it, you'll feel better. When you're doing protocols and you're learning how to live a life, simply, you have to actually do the work yourself.
Yep.
You're not popping a pill.
Yep.
And popping a pill can sometimes make the situation worse.
Mm.
So Entitled to Heal is a vast project, and vast meaning that the landscape that I live from or I understand, it's not universal, although people can say it's a universe. It's beyond that. It is where there's vibrational levels, and on those vibratory fields, depending on how you are and how much joy you have and how willing you are to not stay in anger, let anger go as soon as possible. You can be angry, and that's fine. That's a human emotion, and we all should embrace it. But holding it stops your joy, right? So the sooner you're able to say, oh, I didn't really want to do that. I didn't mean that. It's okay. Let's move on. The sooner you can get back in the field, which has the wisdom and the knowledge. And wisdom doesn't come just from knowledge. Wisdom comes from experience.
Mhm.
Experiential wisdom happened because you understood there was knowledge that you could transform based on your human experience into the wisdom of understanding. It's not, oh, I read a book, I'm wise now. It's
Mhm.
never going to be that. And I think we're learning that more and more now. I think we're having more people say, oh, yeah, I read that. Did you do it before? No. Well, you're not telling me anything then. I can read it too.
Mhm.
What did you
Mhm.
get from it? What happened to you? How'd it go?
Mhm.
So I think we're more curious than we
Mhm.
ever were before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
yeah. There's so much more to say, but
there is. But Vast Entitled
another
to
time.
Heal is our project, and you can find it under Lady Colleen Heller / Vast Heal if you want to look at the information for Vast Heal, Vast Entitled to Heal. The reason it's up in the website is for people to want to get a better understanding without going through the long podcast, because we're on already too long. We will be cutting this down, don't worry. But you can peruse it at your own time. You can, when you're ready to read it or understand it, you can find it. That's why we have it up there, ready to go. So Vast Entitled to Heal, but it's under my website, which is Lady Colleen Heller. Just like it sounds, it's just my name.com. And Robin will be on there. She's filmed as well, so you can see Robin again. Well, at all, because you're not seeing her now.
Thank God.
Yeah, didn't get dressed for this one.
No, I didn't get dressed for this one.
Thank
Uh,
you, Robin.
it was so my pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
Yes, and
I totally enjoyed it.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this cuts up, but it's so much great information. And
Maybe do a two-parter.
well, I've done two parts before, and they're great. They're about 20 minutes long. Um, yeah, so we might do that and add something else in with a how-to in
Mm-hmm.
it. So
Okay.
this is what we're talking about, and this is how you do it. So there might be other ways to extend and expand this one today.
Okay.
I'll let you know. Okay. Thank you. And anyone who's listening, please feel free to comment, like, share, send it out. The more people that receive the information, the better life will be.
Amen, sister.
That's it. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.